Hey everybody, it's Mark Ling here, and I've got with me today a man who is a super affiliate. He is absolutely crushing it in terms of earning affiliate commissions, promoting other people's products on the internet. But he has a very, very unique story. When you talk about a super affiliate, you think about someone that might have been doing internet marketing and having massive success for years on end, and then they finally have reached super affiliate status or something like that. Um, but literally, like a year ago, this guy was working in Walmart, wasn't very happy at all with his job, his income. Is actually getting quite low on cash flow and everything, and then all of a sudden discovers this particular model for doing affiliate marketing. And fast forward to today, and he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a week. His best day has been over $90,000 on his best day, and has already generated millions of dollars. And in his best month, has done over 2 million, which is phenomenal when you consider starting with very low budget. So you're not talking about someone that already had thousands of dollars to spend on paid ads. You're talking about someone who learned to run ads, learned to reinvest what he was making, and turned that snowball of profit into something really big in a very short space of time. So very, very keen to talk to you today, Cole. So welcome along, Cole.
Mark, it is a pleasure to meet you as well. And yeah, I'd like to say thank you to all the Profit Singularity members. This course really did change my life. And yeah, do you want me to start how I started with everything and how
Yeah, yeah.
everything
I mean, I'm really
kind of came
interested in
along?
your journey, um, your journey into this, and feel free to like say, just speak your truth. Like say anything that happened that you want to share, like the good, the bad, the ugly, the and what worked. And I think that that's going to be the best for anybody listening, that they hear how it was for you.
Yeah, so I stumbled across affiliate marketing 3 years ago, and it wasn't with you guys, it was another course creator. And I was just so fascinated with the business model. Is like you make an ad and it's running all day, and you could be out eating dinner and making money. It just seemed like surreal to me, and it was just something I always like strived towards. And I took some other courses back in the day, and I had some moderate success. Anyone that's done Facebook at all, you know, with the account bans and shutdowns, it was kind of a hassle for me. And I remember clearly that I was $40 away from having my first $1,000 day. So I was $960, and I was going to sleep, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna turn up my budget a little bit. I'm gonna hit my $1,000 day tomorrow. I was like, this is gonna be awesome. Like it's gonna be like a huge like milestone breakthrough for me. And I wake up the next morning and my account was shut down. All my ads had turned off and no more money
Wow.
coming in. So I went, I took my girlfriend's Facebook account, started trying to warm that up and tried running ads on that. That got shut down. I took my mom's account, her account also got shut down. So I was like, oh, geez, this is
All
it
right.
just felt like I was a hamster running on a wheel, just going around in circles. So I was like, I'm going to put affiliate marketing to the side for a little bit and come back to it a little later. And I mean, I was I was doing college at the time. I was playing baseball. I was working a job, and that job you were talking about in Walmart, I was actually selling internet in the middle of Walmart. I was one of those annoying guys standing in the middle of Walmart bugging people for internet, and it was okay at times. But the thing that really made me quit and put my foot down, I had a rough week, and it was a commission based sales job, and I had one week where it just wasn't that good, and I made $45 in one week,
Wow.
an entire week. And mind you, I mean, I was at this job for 12 hours a day. So I was like, okay, I'm done with this. I can't, there's no way to possibly live on that.
No.
So I actually that was in St. Louis, Missouri. I actually moved back home. I had to move back home with my parents after that because I was just so low on money. And I moved back home and I started working. I started like saving up a little bit of money. And I stumbled across your guys' course, Profit Singularity, YouTube ads, and I was like, oh man, this is a great new opportunity. You know, I kind of had a little bit of idea of how it works with Facebook. So I decided to take a chance with it. I had bought the course and I had about $2,000 on ad spend. That's how much money I had in my bank account. And I mean, I had some credit cards. I had like a credit limit of about $14,000. And you know, I started learning this. I started getting really obsessed with making this work. And I I mean, I had tested probably 60 videos in the matter of a couple weeks and I found like one
Wow.
winner. Yeah, it was insane. I just went nose to the laptop, you know. I was working on it like 6 to 8 hours a day. And when I had found my winning ad, it just seemed like the more money I put into it, the more money I was making. So I poured in all the money that I had. I maxed out all my credit cards. And then at that point, I had applied to an Amex Gold business card, no limit. And I mean, that ad just scaled to the moon. And that was the ad that hit $90,000 in one day. So it was it was quite a journey. You know, it's been a long time
Mm.
coming for me. I know a lot of people they don't go after something for 3 years, but you know, it took me 3 years and it finally paid off for me.
But it took you 3 years with other models. This model
Yes.
itself was obviously a lot faster, but it shows though, sometimes there's a hell of a lot of work involved or effort involved in being an overnight success, so to speak. Um, you really, I could hear it, like the words you were using, like obsessed. That's reminds me of myself when I started in internet marketing. I started a lot longer ago than you. I was 1999, and I remember back in the day, like it was a long time ago. And I remember what it was like. Just I was at university full time, and I was up during the night. I had a Pizza Hut job. I was working at university, and I was up during the night, like spending 6 hours until like 3 in the morning, just hammering away at this stuff because all of a sudden you start getting a sniff and you see some money coming in and you want to make it count. You don't want to just um you do get obsessed and it doesn't actually feel like you're working. It's different. Like when you go to work, 6 hours feels like it takes forever. When you are actually sort of playing a game and you're making money from it, it kind of like feels like, I could, where did the time go? It's like I know I should go to bed, but I really want to just keep doing this stuff. Was it kind of like that for you?
No, exactly. And it's still like that to this day. You know, I think about all like the terrible jobs I had back in the day. You know, I absolutely hated going to these jobs, you know, and I've worked the worst of the worst, you know, and I've made dirt money. And it's like with this model, I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life. And it doesn't even feel like work
Mm,
at all.
no, it is like a game where money is one of the measures of getting a high score, I guess, in the game. Um, but there are other measures as well. I mean, if you made so many videos in such a short space of time, you said you made 60 videos in 2 weeks. I'm
Yeah.
guessing that a lot of those videos would have been little tweaks from the same video. Like you might have made one video and made 7 or 8 or 10 variations of it to test to see
Yes.
which one does better. Is that right?
Yeah. So as far as as far as entirely different scripts, I probably did about 5 to 6 entirely different scripts. And then from those are the ones that I started to work from. So you could imagine 6 variations of those 10 scripts.
Mm.
Not huge tweaks, but enough to make it different.
Yeah, because you don't know until the audience sees it what they're going to respond to. You think you know, but you don't. For me, with split tests, and I've been a marketer for many years, you'd think I should know, but every time we run a split test of some kind and I make a prediction as to what will win, I'm only right about 60% of the time, which isn't actually that high. Um, it's lower enough that you could be missing out on a hell of a lot if you didn't run the test, because that other 40% of the time that you got it wrong, that could be where you've made $1 million or something, like, eventually, if if that turns out to be very successful. So the reason I sort of brought that up also with the variations was that like, one of your high scores is money, but the other high score is that you look for, and it feels like a game, is data. Like, you might see how many people are getting through and actually clicking through to your offer page, or how many people are adding it to the cart. That could give you some clues as well. Like, do you look at all of those sort of things as well?
Yeah, so you know, my biggest the biggest measure that I looked at was ROI and cost per sale.
Mm,
Um, and when you're testing a bunch of different ads, you can kind of spot out which ones stand out amongst the rest. If this ad is giving you sales at $120 and then another ad is getting you sales at 60, you know, that's something that I just ran with.
mm.
You know, I
Well,
didn't
it's the
really
number
look at,
one for sure, is the dollars. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So that's kind of how I was able to spot it out. You have all these different videos that you've ran tests on, you have the data back, and then you just see like which ones are the outliers that are performing better than the rest.
It's pretty simple though, isn't it, when you really think about it? And that's why people that are absolute newbies have managed to do very well with this, because you don't have to overcomplicate it. It's just run this test. Did it work? Did it not? Get on to your next test. Did it work? Did it not? And learn something as well, so you don't end up running the exact same test again in the future, obviously. But tests that do work, you might go, well, I'll try that similar thing, but for that other offer over there that I'm also trying to promote. So you learn something from those results too, I guess, because you know what you were trying to do that was different.
Definitely.
What did your family think about all of this? Because you said you had to move home and live with your parents for a bit. Like, what did they think when things started taking off?
So what's funny is, so I believe it was my first day I'd made $1,000 profit. I showed my dad and he said, Cole, is this legal?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, dad, it is. And I mean, my mom was just over the moon. She just said, Cole, keep doing it. They were happy for me. Um, but they still to this day, they don't really understand this whole business model. It's kind of foreign. It's foreign to them.
Well, the thing is, though, we've been conditioned through the schooling system and everything else in society, every TV shows you see, everybody is, well, not everybody, but most people in this world get paid dollars per hour. They might get $30 an hour, they might get 25 an hour. Maybe they're on commissions, but the commissions are low enough that it kind of equates to dollars per hour anyway, in a way. It's not really like this, where the rich people, the really wealthy people in this world have two ways of making money. Either they have um, massive assets that grow in value, like long term investments. But in order to have those, somewhere along the lines, they've had a business. And a business is where For most businesses, you spend money to make money. And that's it. That's as simple as that. Like, most people don't have a way of spending money to make money. Watching this video, someone watching this, can you honestly say that you have one way right now where you can have money working for you? If the answer is yes, you're already in that top percentile, the top 20% of this world that are actively doing that. But then um, people don't understand that, why is the top 1% of the world, why do they own 50% of the world's wealth? Top 1%. Why? It's because money works for them. Spend money to make money, and that's all you're doing. You've switched the process. Now money actually works for you. You can spend 10,000 in a day and you can make, massive profit on that each day.
Exactly. And it's really, it really is like a shortcut to wealth. Once you have your money working for you and not working for money,
Mm.
then the numbers you can achieve every day it's insane. You know,
Yeah. But like the reason I mentioned about money working for you too is I just want people to realize that every business is actually like this. This is a genuine business. It's not a get rich quick scheme or anything. I've been doing internet marketing since 1999. The source of traffic changes sometimes, but the principles stay the same. It's still all about leads, like getting traffic, offering them an offer that they will actually want to buy, so conversion rates, and then the average dollars per customer. But the same is true if you owned a gymnasium. You may have to run ads on the radio station, or maybe Facebook ads, or somewhere else. Maybe on TV. I don't know, but you run ads, you get people along, you have a certain level of people convert to customers, and then you make money by having a good average dollars per customer. The average person might sign up for a year rather than just a 1 week or 2 weeker or casual. And um and so people that have done well in this world have a way to spend money to make money. And in the gymnasium's idea, they can spend money on radio ads, and then it helps turn into making money, or they spend money on new gym equipment or whatever it is that gets more people to want to stay as a member. And in your case, you can spend money on more ads and you can make more, and you've really snowballed it to crazy levels.
yeah, it really is life changing. It really is.
um I'd like to know from you, do you have any tips? Like, is there something that, like, let's say you test a lot of openings, of your videos, like a lot of different variations before you end up getting that one that works. What are some different things that cross your mind with, like, oh, I better test this type of opening, and I better test that type of opening? Like, do you have any tips for those kind of things?
So for opening, really the biggest thing is like making sure you're getting the right person watching the video. If you're selling something for back pain, you can't open the video off with, oh, do you have trouble sleeping at night? You've got to really target it on who you're going after, especially with YouTube. The first 5 seconds is the most important. But I mean, a lot of the inspiration I get, I mean, I read books. I look at other videos that are doing well, whether it be across different niches. Like, how can I apply this to my niche?
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that's really all I have. And I'll sometimes get ideas throughout the day with an opening hook, and as soon as I think of it, I write it down in my notes, and when I get home, I'm testing it.
I'll give an example across niche for a moment. Um, this is something actually that I found successful many years ago with a headline I was doing. Like, I had a headline, I tried a lot of different headlines in the dog training niche, and eventually the one that worked the best was something like, who else wants to stop their dogs digging, barking, aggression, chewing, uh, and other dog behavioral problems for good? Like, that worked. And then cross niche. I was like, who are on my learn guitar site? I tried a new headline. I tried who else wants to learn how to play the guitar like Jimi Hendrix, Ozzy Osbourne, Nirvana, and more. And all of a sudden, bam, I got the same bump in conversion rates with that. And then I tried it over on another site with learning piano, another site in language learning. Like, who else wants to be able to speak Spanish confidently and fluently, or something like that in as little as X amount of time. I know it's slightly different, but the idea is that you could see someone else's ad. You could be sitting there just going, I'm just going to keep watching YouTube videos and just watch people's ads. And you could just jot down that little opening. If you think that's a really good ad, that's hooked me in, and you could jot down what they said. And it could be an ad that's to do with selling you a toothbrush, or it could be selling you finance, but you could use that ad, that idea, I guess, for weight loss, or for somebody that's got knee pain or back pain or some other type of offer, like completely different. But the idea is just you know what I mean? Like in my case, the idea was who else wants to, and then insert the benefits that they want to have. Or in this case, it could be something different. But is that the kind of thing that you do?
No, I mean, you really hit it right there. That's exactly what you should be doing, because success leaves clues. If it doesn't really matter what niche it is, it's kind of the structure of it. But yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's that structure. And like you say, you just said about calling the right person out. Now, I know that some people, they think, I need to get as many people to watch the ad as possible. So they think about, how am I going to get people curious to get to the next bit, to the next bit. The problem with that is that YouTube's got such a sophisticated algorithm that if you can just get the right people watching, they can stop showing your ads to the wrong kind of people. And it's actually helpful for YouTube as a whole, and for your ad spend and everything else, if you can just get rid of the people that aren't suitable to you very early, so that it makes their job easier. Obviously, they can target based on who buys the product, but if they can also, you can help them along by making sure that the average person doesn't get past 15 seconds into your ad because you've really called them out. I guess that's helpful too. Would you say that that's right?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wasting your own ad spend. And in reality too, you're not wasting someone else's time that really would never buy that product in the first place. So it doesn't really
Absolutely.
matter it doesn't really matter the volume of people you get through. It's the volume of the right people that get through your funnel.
Mm. So when it comes to calling the right person out, YouTube also states that they don't want you to call out the customer. So there's sort of like a little catch 22. Like, part of the algorithm doesn't want that, and part of it doesn't care. How do you walk that tightrope?
So I'll just give an example of one that I use. It's if you struggle with type 2 diabetes, then you must see this. It's yeah, it is calling them out. It's calling out the problem. It's not really calling out the exact person, but it's calling out, if you have this problem, then you're going to want to see the rest of this video.
Yeah, and I do think that what they don't want is what comes across as creepy, where it's clear that they know who you are, even though they do know who you are. They don't want you to know that. So if it's creepy, like, let's say, for instance, the ad, let's say you targeted people with your ad. I know you have open ads that broad, but let's say it wasn't broad. Let's say you only targeted people that were women aged 55 to 60, and you just ran the ad and said, if you're a woman aged over 55 who, insert problem. I guess that's what they don't want, because then that's where they get complaints and people going, whoa, Like how does this advertiser know this about me? Is YouTube sharing my private information with this advertiser and that kind of
Exactly.
thing, I guess.
I mean, you have to kind of look at it as, would you like to see an ad like that? Would you like to see an ad that knows exactly who you are as a person? You'll find, I mean, you'll think that your privacy is through the door, you know. You won't think you have any privacy.
Yeah, yeah, but I think that what you're saying is it's more that you're just calling out the problem, but you're not getting so, I guess, no, so specific in the way it's worded. And if you had to call out someone of a certain age group, I guess you would use it using words that made it sound like you had no idea what age they are. Um,
Yeah,
like this is, you know, this is most suitable to people aged over 45 or something like that. I don't know. You'd be able to find a way to word it that it doesn't sound like you know that they're over that age group or something like that, I guess.
exactly.
Okay, so do you have any other tips for people that that would help them if they were, let's say, someone was in the program, they're already having a go at this stuff? What would be um, any tips that you want to just share with people really quickly before we wrap up this particular call?
So for someone that's a beginner, um, it's going to be a lot, and you might just throw together a script, just however. But my biggest advice would be to look at like other ads that have worked for other people. And I'm not saying like copy, but look at like the structure of the ad. You know, what did they do in this line? What did they do in this line? Oh, first line, they called someone out. The next line, they said a new opportunity. You know, break down winning ads and see what they do. And that'll give you like a good starting point. You know, I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that's going to work for anyone, but that's going to be a good starting point, and you're going to see like the structure of a winning ad and how it flows. Because even my very first ads, I mean, I was just throwing lines together left and right. It made no rhyme or reason. It didn't really make sense at all. And I mean, that's why my first ads didn't do well at all. But once I actually started like researching winning ads and started looking at like what actually works on YouTube,
Mm.
and I started to get an idea of how ads and scripts are supposed to flow, you know, and I mean, it is a formula, but it's also an art as well.
Yeah, it's like learning how to ride a bike. You put training wheels on, and that can get you riding a bike very quickly as a child, and getting to enjoy riding a bike, getting around, it gets you from A to B. You get the joy and all of that. But sooner or later, the people that do the absolute best, they find a way to succeed with the training wheels off eventually. The training
Yeah.
wheels, certainly it can help. Otherwise, maybe you wouldn't have had the enjoyment of being on a bike and want and have the motivation to get to the next bit. And that's kind of it. Like you've gone from the point of maybe using the templates and all of that sort of stuff to the point where now you're going beyond the templates and you're just trying to work out what other new discoveries has perhaps anyone else made, maybe test a few things that you were learning, you know. Um
Yeah.
and
And oh, keep
no,
going.
no, 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 I've finished.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, my best ads that I've made, you know, I've had an ad that's gotten over 20 million views, and it's you're gonna have the most success on YouTube being original. You know, I do say like look at like templates to see how an ad, how like the structure of it goes, but that ad that I had over 20 million views, it was, I mean, that was all like me, you know,
Mm.
original content. I didn't look at other people's work. I kind of like I came up with it on my own. So that's where that's where I think people are going to have the most success is if it
Yeah.
comes from themselves.
No, absolutely. Now, when you say came up with it on your own, I just want to ask you a couple of questions about that actually, because I think that this could be quite important. Um, Came up with it on your own. Would you say that the entire ad, start to finish, is completely original, or would you say it's more the premise and the beginning, and then but you're still hitting those normal psychological points that you would in an ad at certain stages, like like adding credibility at this point, or adding a call to action at that point, or adding you know um like
Yeah,
different factors, I guess. Attention, interest, desire, all that sort of stuff is still in there. It's just the overall like narrative. Like, is
it's
that
yeah.
is that what you mean by
No,
being unique, or do you mean like it's just completely different?
no, I get what you're saying. When I say like being unique is not like taking exact, I mean, you're saying the same premise where it's like a call to action, but you're like making up kind of your own call to action. When you're calling someone out, you make up your own call out
Yeah,
and not just like look at what like everyone else is doing. It's the same like psychological triggers, but you're just wording it in your own way.
yeah. So then it'll sound much more congruent as well, I guess, when you go about it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I think you've provided some really, really good insights. I hope that people are very, very inspired by what you have to say here today. What would you say to anybody that was considering joining a workshop to find out more about this stuff? Joining one with Rob and Keegan.
Yeah. I mean, I would say at least like just give it a chance, I mean, that's how I kind of went into it. I was like, oh, this is something I've always been trying to do. And it might be someone's like first time ever learning about affiliate marketing, but I mean, it's a real business. You can make real money, and I mean, you can really achieve financial freedom. I mean, it's truly possible. I was actually telling you this. There's there are people that make money online and make full-time livings online, and it's not like a fairy tale land. It's definitely achievable. And I mean, with this system, it can happen quickly. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it can happen quickly. It's not easy to make 60 videos in 2 weeks. You have to put your head down, but it's doable.
And yeah, but you don't even have to go as hard and fast as you have. I mean,
No.
your best day's 90,000, made hundreds of thousands of dollars per week. I bet some people out there will watch this and go, well, okay, he's made over, this guy's making hundreds of thousands a week. I'd be quite happy with 1/100th of that. I'd be happy with 1,000 a week to start with, and then maybe get it to 1,000 a day. And um, and I'm just saying that to people that are sort of perhaps panicking about the idea that they have to go as hard. That we're talking about, someone who's not a typical student in terms of results. Like, you're right up there in the top. Well, you are the top student in this last year's intake. You know, and there's only a handful of students that are doing over 10,000 a day. So, you know, but there are hundreds that are doing thousands a week. And so I just want people to, I guess, also realize, like, was when you say 60 ads, you don't have to panic about that. You can do less, but it's good to know that, whoever's taken it to the nth degree, really, there's no glass ceiling on your income. It's just a matter of how hard you want to work at it and how obsessed you want to be. I guess there are people that have put an hour a day in and have had phenomenal success, but you've obviously had that next level, and I think it's really important people hear from you so that they know what it's like. What is it like for somebody that took it that far? Well, this is what he's done. You've earned it though from it's just hard work, I guess. Like, and I don't even know it's hard work. It's just a lot of commitment.
Yeah, it's not hard work at all. Um, it's just being consistent. It really is. And it's really like trusting the system because I mean, someone can make a few ads and they don't doesn't really go how they want it to go and give up, but it's
Mm.
it's just trusting the system. And I mean, it's worked for me, and it's worked for a ton of your guys' students, you know.
Yeah, no, I think you've been hugely inspiring. And I just want to say a big thank you for being on today's call and for being so open and sharing with all your information. You've done fantastic as with the model, but also here today. I think people will gain a lot of value. So I just want to say a big thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. And like I said earlier, thanks to all the Profit Singularity members. So I mean, this course really did change my life, and it's
That's awesome.
it has been awesome.
All right, guys. So make sure that you join us for a workshop if you haven't already. There'll be a link either below or in the description. And I just want to say thanks everyone for being on today's call. Make sure you take action with what you learn, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now, everybody.